Bird Box. Is it good? Is it worth it? Well, yes and no. This is the latest offering by Netflix. It stars Sandra Bulloch with a little bit of John Malkovich and a slight dash of Sara Paulson, who's in like all these seasons of American Horror Story. The story revolves around Sandra Bulloch's character named Mallory. There's some kind of global outbreak that's causing people to commit suicide, and the story is basically Sandra Bulloch trying to survive and get to a safe zone. Now you see in the trailers, her and anybody else, I think there's other people in the trailers, but everybody's wearing blindfold. The reason for that is when they go outside, everybody sees something. There's an entity, a presence. There's something that they see that they immediately lose their mind and they commit suicide in the fastest way possible. And if you remember, that was the premise of a crappy 2008, I believe, movie with Mark Wahlberg called The Happening that was directed by M. Night Shyamalan. On the plus side, this movie is about 10 times better than that particular movie. It also has a little bit of a resemblance to the more recent Quiet Place, which it doesn't come close to being as good as. I was really digging this movie for the first, I'll say about 2/3 of the way through. After that, it kind of fizzled out. There was a lot of tension, a lot of suspense. I thought it was going in a good direction. It does the time jumping back and forth. So it starts out with Sandra Bulloch with two kids trying to make their way down a river. And then it goes back 5 years to the beginning of this outbreak of insanity to where she gets stuck in this house with a bunch of other characters and they're trying to figure out what's going on. They can't leave the house. When they do, they have to be blindfolded because if not, they go immediately insane and off themselves. But then the movie jumps back and forth between that time frame and then forward like 5 or 6 years to where she's on this river and trying to make her way, blindfolded with these two children. And to me, that kind of tainted the other part that you're watching. At one point she's with this group of people and then at another point she's by herself. So something is happening. Something happens to this other group she's with. So it becomes more or less not who survives, but how the other people actually get taken out. She's by herself, so pretty much nobody else survives. So that kind of ruined that part of it for me as far as like a suspense thing. Like I said, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie. The first good 2/3 of the way through, I was in there. I was digging it. It just kind of fizzled off towards the end. A lot of people are saying you either love this movie or you hate it. I don't agree. I'm kind of in the middle. No, I told Duke that I would say that he gave this movie 5 out of 10. And I think for him, he was being generous. He really didn't like it. For me, I'll give it a 6.5, maybe a 7. I think it's a pretty decent movie overall. It's got a few plot issues. But like I said, the beginning 2/3 of it were pretty good, had good suspense. The suicide scenes were brutal and pretty creative. And it's on Netflix, so what do you got to lose? You're already paying for the Netflix account. So go ahead and check it out. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate your support.